Welcome to Nerdy Psychology. I'm Dr. Angel, and you're here at part 2 of our communication series. So glad that you decided to join us this week as we continue to dive in leveling up our communication, our quality of connections in our life, because they're just so vital to us. This is part of our relationship challenge series, and I'm so glad you're here to join us. Let's dive right in. Now that we covered what not to do, let's talk about how do we level up our communication game. I mean, let's be honest, that's what we're here for, right? First of all, be present in the moment. Put the phone down. Make eye contact. Tune into what the other person is saying. Give them that space. If you're in the middle of doing something and it's not the time that you can give that undivided attention, then hey, can I finish this up and we can sit and chit chat, or let me call you back, or it's better to delay a conversation and give genuine your attention and time and focus than to be dismissive and try to push through it in that moment. Practice empathy. Empathy is so important. We need that empathy. And oftentimes I think we aren't sure what that might look like, or we might be uncomfortable with that. We can be very uncomfortable when someone's having a bad day, or they're struggling, or they're hurting, or they're sad, or they're disappointed, or they're feeling betrayed. Like sometimes those negative emotions, we don't like pain. I mean, think about it. The number one medications on the market are pain medications. We don't want a headache. We don't want a toothache. We don't want pain. And it goes the same for emotional pain. And we can be very uncomfortable when someone is kind of having that emotional pain in any kind of way. And so it's sometimes we use those defenses of one upping, because that's our way to like dismiss your pain. And we're thinking, oh, but it's not that bad as this. So it's really not that bad. It's kind of, I think, a defense mechanism for us when we're uncomfortable with that kind of level of pain at times. It can be. And I think that just using words like, man, that sounds really tough, or I'm really sorry you're dealing with that, can really go a long way in empathy. It's just acknowledging what you're going through isn't pleasant. It could be painful. It could be difficult. I think another way that people might go when we hear people struggling or going through a difficult time can be that I'm going to tell you how to fix your problem because I don't want you to be in a difficult time. And the person's not soliciting advice. They are just talking about what's happening. And the other person is trying to say, well, if you would have just left your husband, or if you would have just disciplined your kid, or if you would have just quit that job, or if you would have just fill in the blank. It could be a million things. And that leads to all kinds of frustrations. And we shouldn't be solving other people's problems. We shouldn't come in to be the fix it, especially when they're not asking for help or advice. Then we shouldn't be offering that. We need to offer that empathy. We need to kind of come back to empathy first, and then clarify what that person might need in that moment. And it's okay. Pain happens, but pain is manageable, and it's very manageable when we feel acknowledged and heard and supported. Pain becomes more intense when we feel like our pain has been dismissed, devalued, made invisible, or it's our fault and we're getting the blame and the shame for it. And so just stop for a moment and think, how can I provide that support? Think about the people when you've hurt and some of the responses you've experienced and how that felt. Because I know we've all experienced that. I was being in a moment and going through a difficult time and reaching out to somebody and sharing that, and they just told us how their problems were so much worse, or they told us that, oh, well, if you would have just made that decision, you wouldn't be having this problem right now. I told you not to take that job, that I told you so. Like, these, they don't make anybody feel good. And so just stop and reflect. Ask open-ended questions. Like, get out of that yes no question. Like, really look at clarifying and seeking understanding. What does that feel like right now? How can I support you right now? What do you need right now? So much more effective than, are you okay? How's it going? Like, those are great passing conversations, but when we're having a meaningful connection, we need to ask those questions that lead to more conversation. What does that look like for you? Like, those are really great spaces to have more in-depth conversation. What did you mean by that? So that we can have the conversation that is meaningful. Be clear about your needs. And I'm going to say that again. Be clear about your needs. Stop expecting people to read your mind. This is not a relationship test. It is nothing but frustrating. You are responsible as an adult for having your needs met. It is no one else's responsibility to look at you and go, gosh, the way she's sitting with her legs crossed today, I think that means she needs a hug. Or, oh my gosh, the way, oh, that stiff language, all the way they walked in. Oh, I think that means I should go wash the dishes. No, nobody should be doing that. That's totally toxic. Ask for what you need. We need to get in the habit of acknowledging what I need. A lot of people don't even know what it is that they need. And we'll sit in counseling, we'll have the conversation of how this person disappointed them. I'm like, well, what did you need in that moment? Well, I don't know. If you don't know what you need, how is anybody else supposed to know what you need? Or how's anybody else supposed to meet that need? And so sit back and reflect a little bit. What is it you need? And ask for it. I need a hug. I just need to feel heard. I just need a vent. I'll tell you, even in my own marriage, I know that my spouse does not like it when I've had a really frustrating day or I've had a lot of negative interactions with people that might have happened throughout the week. And I would come home and I'd be like, oh my gosh, you will not believe like this happened. And I can't believe that happened. And we will talk about it, and it would make my spouse very angry, and they wanted to go, well, I'm gonna go talk to that person, or I'm gonna, no, I don't want you to do that. So what happened was I stopped sharing because I wasn't needing my spouse to go fix anything. I just was trying to vent about it and talk about what felt frustrating to me. And so I had to stop in my own space and go, okay, I want to talk to you about something. And I know it's probably going to upset you because you don't like it when I get frustrated with interactions. However, I just need you to listen to me. I just need to vent and get it out. And then once I started prefacing those conversations like that, I didn't hold back anymore. I didn't distance that relationship because now I felt safe enough to bring it back into the relationship because now we know, okay, you're not asking me to fix it. You're not asking me to do anything for you. You just need me to listen. That's it. Yes, that is all I need. And maybe a hug. That is all I need. And so ask for what you need. If it's encouragement, a hug, to vent, use your words. We say that to toddlers all the time. Use your words. We as adults need to use our words. Check your assumptions. You know, the narratives that you write in your head, check them out. Don't just jump to conclusions. Don't just think the worst case. Don't do that. Ask questions. Do I have evidence for this story that I'm telling myself? What has been my experiences with this person? Have I had the conversation with this other person in some kind of meaningful way? Like, hey, I said hi to you yesterday and you walked right by me. Are you mad at me? Did I do something to you? Like that kind of clarification. Now the other person might be like, oh my gosh, I totally didn't even see you. I was so distracted. I just had a fight with my friend or my spouse and I totally didn't even see you. I apologize. I didn't mean to make you feel ignored. Boom, done. Otherwise, it sits and it festers, and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they would ignore me like that. After everything I do for them, and I pick their kids up from school, and they could just walk right by me. Like, who do they think they are? Stop, stop with the assumptions and story writing. Ask the questions, get the follow up, get rid of some of this anxiety. We have way too much happening in our world to that we have stressful and anxiety inducing. Some of those things we can ask for clarification, and any of those little hamsters we can take down off the wheels of our minds is so important to our overall health and our mental health and our emotional health and our relational health. Be mindful when you're texting and using electronic communication. Don't have serious conversations that way. Do not have important conversations that way. Do not talk about a fight or a conflict that way. This method is totally a recipe for disaster. Pick up the phone or say, hey, can we meet for coffee? Can we go out to dinner? Can we go to lunch? Whatever. Can you come over? Meaningful connections we need to have, and we need to give the space and the place for meaningful and important conversations so that they have the best opportunity to be heard and interpreted in a way that helps the relationship to grow and move forward instead of hurt the relationship or fracture it further. And so I want you to really take that extra time. It can be a game changer for your relationships because now we can deal with things in real time. So, okay, I know I have thrown a whole lot at you, but we're going to do a little bit of homework. Remember, we're in the relationship challenge, and we're really going to challenge ourselves to level up us, how we relate to people, how we connect to the people in our world. So, put that phone away. Next time you're talking to someone, give them your undivided attention. Practice empathy using those phrases like, that sounds really difficult, or I just want you to know I'm here for you. Those can be really helpful conversations. Be direct about your needs. Try saying, I need that hug or I need that advice. Take ownership of what you need. Stop expecting people to guess for you this week and challenge your assumptions. Don't just jump to those conclusions. Ask those clarifying questions. Communication breakdowns occur when the message you're sending is not the message the other person is receiving, and vice versa. Our perspectives, our lenses, they're part of our world and they're unique to each of us. And what we see and what we experience and what we feel may not at all be what the other person sees or experiences or feels. And so in these situations, no one's right and wrong. We're just merely speaking different languages, metaphorically speaking. In the words of George Bernard Shaw, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that communication has taken place. I cannot tell you the number of times I've listened to others having conversations at restaurants or family functions or group settings, and the two people who were talking weren't even having the same conversation with each other, and neither of them realized it. Now it's your turn. In the comments, share your biggest communication pet peeve or tell me a healthy habit that you're going to try and work on these next few weeks. Let's keep the conversation going. And hey, if you found today's episode helpful or informative, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more psychology pack fun coming your way. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep your mind nerdy and keep those conversations healthy. See you next week.